Welcome, everyone. My name is John Pacheco, and I'm the president of the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Minnesota. And I want to welcome to today's very, very important webinar. As you read the news and see the things coming out about building back Minnesota, building back the country, you realize how important supplier diversity and procurement is to the Latino community. It is the mission of the Latino Chamber of Commerce to support the Latino community in the economic growth and vitality. As a matter of fact, the growth and vitality of the state of Minnesota. So our subject today is very important for all of us around. And just to give you a quick example, the state of Minnesota spends over 2.2 billion annually on products and services. The University of Minnesota about 400 million. So right now, as we look at it, this is the part that we play in growing Minnesota, and that is contracting with these entities. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hector Martinez, who's the Vice President of Procurement and Supplier Diversity at U.S. Bank, and quite frankly, a board member of Latino Chamber of Commerce. Hector?
Well, thank you for that introduction, John, and buenos dias. Good morning to everybody here. I'm really excited and delighted to be a part of this program. We feel at U.S. Bank that supporting diverse suppliers is and has been a priority. And with everything that has happened through the pandemic and the social unrest here in the Twin Cities, it's even become more and more of a focus. So my team and I are really excited about really kicking off several initiatives next year. We want to begin to sponsor businesses to get their certification through the North Central Minority Supplier Development Council and other organizations here locally. We're really looking forward to our continued progress and development with the Latino Chamber and John and his group. So it's a really exciting time for us here in the Twin Cities, but there are many challenges, right, as well that we have. And as you all understand, working with large corporations is not easy. I've been on the other side of the desk. Many of you probably remember when I started my career many years ago in consulting at MEDA, as well as working for the Neighborhood Development Center in St. Paul. So I have a very keen understanding of a lot of entrepreneurs with all of the ups and downs and what they face through and through. And now that I'm on the other side of the desk in procurement, I take it upon myself and those around me to make sure that we're coaching, developing our suppliers, and really showing what the value and certification is. So, when we look at, the value for certification here at US Bank, we want to make sure that you understand what that is. The value for us from the corporate procurement side is that we're really truly looking at the diverse supplier base as a function and a way to be able to reduce our costs, right? We're from a procurement standpoint, procurement departments really truly are looking to reduce costs, innovate their business, and make sure that we're really doing what we're saying what we're doing by providing opportunities to develop our suppliers. So it contributes to supply chain excellence. It strengthens our brand, facilitates compliance with some of our customers. We have very large corporate and government customers, both on the state level, local level. We want to make sure that our customers are understanding of our commitment. And then lastly, when I look at diversity, equity, and inclusion at US Bank, it is one of the 4 pillars that is really important and part of our development and strategy as we continue to support businesses like yours. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Heather Olson. Heather and I have a very, I would say, lengthy history, being that I've worked with 2 corporations now, and she's been with the council out of Wisconsin when she first started, and now is the president of the North Central Council, an organization that certifies businesses in 5 states. So without any further ado, I will go on ahead and turn it over to President Olson for her to tell you a little bit about her organization, the value in certification, and how you get those items done for your business. Heather?
Thank you, Hector Martinez. And similar to the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Minnesota, we have the privilege of having Hector Martinez on our board as well. So we all carve out time from Hector, and Hector is also our treasurer. So we all value you, Hector, and your time that you give to all this. We know your passion is there. So thank you for your leadership. And it's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation, John and Anita. It's great to be with all the businesses here and to do this presentation. I want it to be interactive. We have, it looks like roughly 10, 11 business owners on the line. More might join as we go forward. I do have a slide deck, but I do not take offense to interruptions, whether you want to put questions into chat, whether you want to take yourself off video and microphone or just off microphone and ask questions. I'm good on all those fronts. I think before I do a screen share, so I'll introduce myself, and we do have team members on the line too, and then I'll kind of turn certification on its head to start, because I really liked how Hector opened it up with some of the comments he made. And I think there's a demystification we can kind of make through that for certification and the why to get it. So as Hector mentioned, I've been with the National Minority Supplier Development Council Network for around 20 years now. It's going on 20 years. I started in 5th grade, and we used to cover Wisconsin, Iowa, Central Illinois, and then we were fortunate to have my former home state of Minnesota, and I went to school in North Dakota, all come together in 2014. We became the Great North Central, the Bold North, which is Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wisconsin, a great region. And through these years of working in this space with great people like Hector and great advocacy partners like the Latino Chamber of Commerce, we've kind of seen a lot of things change, and we've seen the evolution of the value of certification. So I'm going to go share a slide deck here. And on the call with us today, I do want to say we have Antoinette Mahomes, who leads our certification program. So she's in the chat, and her contact information is going to be in this deck earlier in the deck. Or later in the deck, I should say, get to the front of the deck. And then we also have Cynthia Radke, and she leads our corporate relations. And so between the two of them, you have two good team members on the call with us today to support you in the certification process and in making corporate connections. So the first thing, and Anita, thank you for joining, because you're gonna keep me honest and ask the hard questions or take us through this in a way that is going to be helpful for everybody.
Yes, actually, I already have, one thing, I have a question. So I heard, and Cynthia, tell me if this sounds familiar to you, but I heard that in the state of Minnesota, as far as being minority certified, there's like under 100 businesses that are Latino that are minority certified. I don't know if that's just with the state or if that includes you guys as well, but do you have is there a low number that have of Latino businesses specifically that have your certification here in Minnesota?
So the answer is that is the state, but the other answer to that is we do have a disproportionately low number of certified Latino businesses with us in our whole region, state of Minnesota, every one of our states. We have a sad number, in my opinion, of businesses certified with the MBA certification that are Latino. So this is a great opportunity to do outreach. We can run the number, Anita, and share that with you in the chamber. It's something I don't have off the top of my head for just the state of Minnesota or for our region, but I can guarantee and tell you that we do not have enough Latino-owned businesses certified. And the benefit, and that gets to the putting this on the head, is I want to share with the business owners on the phone or in this meeting, and Hector brought it up really well in his beginning. Certification is really not there to attest to the value of your business, whether your business is good, bad, other, whether your product service is good, bad, other. It's not there to put value on your business. It's there to tell the customer, like US Bank, that your business is truly minority managed, owned, and controlled. So certification is really, to turn it on its head, it's not the North Central saying, we just want you to go through this arduous process of certification and get a certificate. Certification really is there for your customer. In our case, we primarily have private sector customers, but we do have some public sector members as well. Like the state of Minnesota, for example. And so certification tells that corporate member, whether they be public or private sector, that my business is a bona fide, managed, owned, and controlled business by an ethnic minority party or parties. I'm not a front. And that allows companies like US Bank to do metrics and tracking and to increase valid numbers of diverse businesses, and in this case, Latino-owned businesses into their supply chains. And so I guess that's where I just wanted to start, and I'll go through this. I think sometimes in working in this space for the years I have, businesses have rightly so looked at the process of certification and been, oh, I have so much on my plate. I'm running a company. I'm doing everything soup to nuts. Where do I find time to do this certificate? Why should I do that? I'm a good business at what I do, and I provide a quality product or service. It really is a tool in the toolkit for the customers current and future. And it's also a differentiator for your company and a value add. So I guess that's the pivot that we're looking at from certification. It's not to attest to your company, it's to provide that current and future customer benefit that's going to differentiate you from your competition. So I'm going to go to the next slide here and show our vision and kind of get us through this so we can go to the step-by-step processes. So the mission of the NCMSDC is to provide business development services to corporate members and certified MBEs to enhance relationships and maximize business opportunities. So really, we look at certification as a gateway, but then beyond certification, we are here to develop, and that's both develop on the MBE side, but also with our corporate members to support our corporate members' supplier diversity programs and processes. And then we connect through virtual programming and or in-person or hybrid programming so that you can build those business relationships, whether it's peer-to-peer or with prospective customers, and we advocate. And we can share this deck with the chamber. But there's a great video that you can link to, a YouTube video that gives the history of the NMSDC and how this all got started. And there's many certifications out there that we know of, both public sector, private sector. The NMSDC Minority Business Enterprise Certification was the first onto the scene and really created the foundation for now, the many that we have, WeBank, Veterans, NGLCC, et cetera, in the advocacy partner space. So we're the bold north, like I mentioned, we're this great purple swath up here. We call it Prince Purple, even though I know the Viking fans would probably call it Viking Purple. We try to not offend our Packer fans and our other fans throughout the region here. So we're the Prince Purple. We currently have 76 corporate members with 10 active non-headquartered members, but that's just for our region. Certification is nationwide. So when you're certified through the North Central MSDC, you have a nationwide certificate with nationwide visibility. To your question, Anita, 335 certified MBEs in our 5-state region when we ran this data back in September. So that right there overall is just low for all diversity. And then as you can imagine, we really have room to grow to get more certifications, more Latino-owned business certifications.
So that means that, the competition is low. If this gives you a leg up, it gives you an advantage over other businesses that might be competing for the same thing. And the number is so low who's certified. That means that it's a blue sky for us to get certified and to have that extra advantage now before everybody else gets in there, or it's an open opportunity, right?
That's a really great way of looking at it, Anita. Actually, that's an excellent way of looking at it, because when corporate members come to us and they ask for lists, who do you have that does this? We're dealing with a very limited pool. The more businesses that we can have involved and certified with us, the more we can expose those businesses when the corporate members on an often daily basis come to us and say, we need a spreadsheet for companies that do X. And we're dealing with a very limited pool. So you're right, it really is an opportunity to increase exposure and awareness that your company exists through certification. So this slide just sort of, I won't read it, it just highlights some of the things we're actually talking about right now. Certification comes with things like business conferences, both at the regional level, the national level. Next week, the National Minority Supplier Development Council has their national conference. It gets you engaged in MB to MBE search tool options in the database. I guess what I will also say, two things on this is one, since we are primarily a private sector, we're a private sector serving certification with public sector and private members, your company is secure in a database, and only corporate members or government members with supplier diversity processes have access to your information. It's not like a public sector certification where you're out on a public list. So that's another added benefit of certification through us, because it does create that exposure. And it's secure access by our members to your information. And once again, it's nationwide. So it's not just the pool of those supplier diversity programs within our 5-state region or in the Twin Cities or greater Minnesota. Anybody across the nation can find a firm certified through us, since it's a national certification. And the last bullet, and I know Director Martinez has been involved in some of these discussions, but we're very excited that we're launching an interface here in the next 30 days. It's going to allow our corporate members to go in and put in opportunities, whether they're quick turnaround opportunities or long range planning opportunities, RFIs, RFPs, RFXs.
And that's going to be nationwide, right, Heather?
So, well, to talk about the benefit for our North Central region, we are launching it first, since it's a tool that we and the leadership of our board of directors supported creating.
And here in the region. Okay.
Here in the
got it.
region, yep.
Okay.
Now to support our corporate members, we are going to look at like a subscription model nationwide, so that we can find MBEs throughout the nation to make sure. I mean, number one, selfishly, I'm going to say we want North Central MBEs in the supply chains, because that's our 5-state region. And in this case, we're talking Minnesota. So, you know, that's number one. But then number two, at the end of the day, we want to make sure anytime there's an opportunity, if that opportunity cannot be won by an MBE in the Twin Cities, but there's an MBE that can do it in Indianapolis, let's at least get an MBE in the door.
Right. And Heather, maybe if you could talk a little bit about, thank you for that. I think it's really exciting to hear that there are going to be opportunities. That's a really important point to note, as well as it's not just US Bank and several other companies. Heather, how many corporations are part of your council that are large?
Okay, you teed it up. I'm going to show. So right now, this is our national member list. These are in our 5-state region headquartered. So once again, visibility to certification is much greater than this, but this is our 5-state. So anybody can kind of read through the list here, and I'll go back if I went too fast. So these are the corporations in our region that are national members. What that means is they pay dues to the national office to have national visibility for their supplier diversity programs and processes. And then this next slide, it gets bigger yet. This is a slide of all of our regional or local corporate members. They pay dues within our region in our 5 states, because right now where their supplier diversity programs is they want to source from MBEs in our 5-state region. They've decided that they are not yet at that place where they have national reach with their program, but it's very important for them to find MBEs within our region. Sometimes they're 2 regions strong, like Xcel Energy. They're very strong in our region. I know they're active with the Latino Chamber of Commerce and on the board. They also are strong with Mountain Plains. I believe that's the name of the council. We've changed all our names just to the west of us in Colorado. So so some of these are 2-member affiliates or just 1 affiliate, but a great list here. So if you're looking at this list and you're saying, I'd like to build business relationships with Mayo Clinic, I think what I do is a good match for Mayo Clinic or another hospital. What the North Central exists to do is to be that conduit to help you build those business relationships with the private sector and to learn what is coming in their supply chains, who are the right points of contact. My deck wants to move on its own. Who are the right points of contact? So this is another list of active corporate members, not headquartered in our region, but they sponsor or pay dues in our region. So once again, giving you an idea of those corporations that are saying, we are looking for certified MBEs. We want them to be in the North Central region. And as I mentioned earlier, the interface we're launching is going to give them even a better way of getting their opportunities in front of our certified MBEs. And it's not an additional cost to a certified firm. It's going to be an advantage for a certified MBE to have that interface. So now, go ahead.
You have to get certified. Well, so you would get certified and then go click on all those links and input your stuff into each individual website. And then in addition to that, they sometimes call you and you literally spit out a list of what's in your system and give that to them, right? So you got to cover both sides.
Yep, a great call out, Anita, and I'm glad you brought that up. So because we have the little bullet down here, these hyperlinks will take you to a supplier diversity page or homepage if the company doesn't have a supplier diversity page. So to your point, Anita, that you brought up, and I know that this can be a frustration, so we tell our business owners, number one, get certified. So you have the certificate, and when you register in the portals, you can say, yes, I'm NCMSDC/NMSDC MBE certified. Here's my certificate number. If they ask you to upload your certificate, you've got the PDF to upload. So that's number one, and I know why we're here to kind of discuss that today. But then to your point, Anita, number two, if you decide that doing business with Land O'Lakes makes business sense, Anita is exactly correct. You hyperlink to their portal if they have one, and you register your company there. You say you are a diverse business. You provide the certifications that you have. That allows Land O'Lakes to discover you when they're looking for, do we have diverse businesses that do X? When we put out this RFI, RFP, RFQ, should we have a diverse business requirement? Should we be mandating that we have X number, one or more diverse businesses included in the scope of this release of this RFP? They look in their databases to kind of do that discovery. So once again, Anita, getting to your earlier point where it's kind of a blue sky right now, if there aren't a lot of diverse businesses certified by us, then you take it to the next level. There's probably not a lot of Latino-owned businesses sitting in these corporate portals as well, right? So that can give our corporate members the idea that the businesses aren't out there. And so our role is really to say the businesses are out there. We want to discover them. We want to get them engaged. So yes, you certify. We don't recommend a company take the time to go into every portal unless it makes business sense, because we don't want to create work just to create work. But you do want to go into the portals for the companies that make sense. And that way also, when you have a conversation like with Hector with US Bank or any of his colleagues, his team, if they ask, are you in our portal? As a business owner, you can say, yep, I registered in your portal. I'm already done with that. So it moves the conversation forward too. So yes, to Anita, to your point, target the companies that you want to do business with or are currently doing business with, because if you're doing business with them and you get certified, often we see that business will grow once you're certified, because they'll be like, wow, I can, you're already a great relationship to our company. We would like to do more business with your company. And then, yes, Anita, I think the third thing you mentioned was the council sending out spreadsheets. When a company comes to us saying, we're looking for MBs that do X, then our team gets a spreadsheet together, sends it to that company. But with this new interface that I mentioned, it's also going to be an opportunity for our members to put the opportunities in the interface, and all of our certified MBs will get a pop-up saying, there's a new opportunity posted, go check the interface. And you can decide if it's a match for your company or not, and reply to it just to start that engagement of relationship building. Anita, anything else before I actually get into the nuts and bolts of the how to get certified? I wanted to start with the exciting stuff around the value before we get into the nuts and bolts here. Anything else you want me to touch on or bring up?
No, I want to be on that spreadsheet. So,
yeah, we want you on the
yeah, thank you. Everybody should be.
We want you. I mean, one of the hardest things in our space, speaking for myself and the team, is to be asked for companies that do things, and we know those companies must be out there. We just don't have visibility to them. And that's frustrating. And then also, let's say you want to partner with another company to bid on an opportunity. We just want to know you're there and exist so that we can make those relationships and make those successes. So here's the criteria in a nutshell for certification for those that are on the line here. You need to be a for-profit. We don't certify nonprofits. You have to be physically headquartered in our 5-state region, and that's where you do your corporate filing. So if you do your corporate filing in our 5-state region, you qualify to certify with us. Once again, I just want to emphasize it's a nationwide certification, but we, for our affiliate, do look for the headquarters in our 5-state region. The company must be 51% minimally managed, owned, and controlled by an ethnic minority party or parties. So it can be one or more, but we look for that minimum of 51%. And we do look for real substantial continuing ownership. We do look if there's capital that had to be invested to start the company. We look to see if the capital contributions are fair. And we look for business owner expertise. And this is all to protect you, the business owners, from the fronts. Antoinette on our team who handles our certification, it's almost detective work, right? We're sleuthing. We want to make sure that when we certify a business, that business truly is MBE and we're not putting a front through, and that protects the businesses that are legitimate. And it also protects our corporate members from counting spend that isn't legitimate. And that's really why they see value in our certification process, because we really dot the I's and cross the T's. It makes it a little bit more laborious on the front end for you to get certified, because we're asking all these questions and it can seem just onerous, but it really is to make sure we don't allow things to pass that would take business away from you through a front operation. We do right now require US citizenship. I do actually hope our national office looks at green cards. The WeBank, our counterpart on the Women Business Enterprise national side, they do accept green card holders. I just think that's a direction our national office needs to go, but we haven't gone there yet. Ethnic owners must operate, manage, control the firm. I just said that. The company can't be a holding company, so we can certify the companies up under a holding company. Later in this deck, I do have the slide on the prices, but in the deck, when I share it with the chamber, you can link to it on our website to see the prices. I will say we keep certification very low. We're probably the lowest in the network. We don't want to create a burden on companies to get certified, so we keep the cost of certification low. We look to drive our revenue through other means, through memberships with our corporate members and through sponsorships. So, okay, so now I'm going to get into the weeds, and I'll go high level, but Anita, please be my gut check here. If there's something that I need to spend a little bit more time on, just stop me. I don't want to bore anybody, but we do want to kind of go through the nuts and bolts here. So, okay, so the very first step, and the link to this is on our website, and maybe Antoinette or Cindy, if you want to put the initial certification link to the NMSDC portal in the chat, that would possibly be a great thing right now to do that. The very first step to get certified is to register, and that's basically registering yourself for a login. It's a 5-step process. You're going to get a login. So you go through these steps. You put your name in, last name, email. You enter a password, you create a password, company, etc. Once again, pretty basic. You're going to get step 2 here. You're going to get an email from relay@AdaptOne. You don't have to, well, I guess it's on the deck here, relay@adaptone.com. And once again, we can share the deck out. It sometimes goes through spam or junk, but that email is basically going to confirm you have registered on the site. We're ready to proceed. And that gives you confirms your login of your email address and your password. And so that's basically the first step, just to get yourself a password and login. After you get through that step, you can then start the certification process. You go back to the site, you log in, you say, click here to start MB certification process. And once again, you're using the same site as you used before that Antoinette and Cindy can put in our chat. The very first thing you're going to be asked for is your federal tax ID. That is the identification way that we keep all of our businesses separated, really, is the FEIN. And then you're going to have some pre-qual questions that you're going to be asked. This is just to verify, like I said, the criteria. The first question is you got to be for profit. If you accidentally say the wrong answer, you let Antoinette on our team know. We can work with AdaptOne to get this reset for you. But the first thing is I'm a for-profit business, minimally 51%, US citizenship. So basically it's the pre-quals we just saw on that last slide. The highest executive titled person in the company has ownership or majority ownership, yes or no. The firm is headquartered. So basically you answer these questions, you say you're not a holding company, et cetera. And once you do all that, you hit continue. And then you're ready to start the process. So basically those pre-quals are just to say, yes, this is a certifiable firm. If you accidentally answer something wrong and you get kicked out, like I said, just come to our office so that we can get something reset. So now that you've done the pre-quals, you're ready literally to just do your application. And it really is, to kind of try to simplify it, it really is just these steps: general information, ownership information, products and services, references, documentation, and that's going to be specific to what your corporate filing is, what type of company you are, and then a declaration that is the owner or owners attesting that they are the owners of the company.
And Heather, this is all done online, correct? There is no more mailing in documents or any of that, correct?
Correct. Yep, it's all
So
online.
that means that businesses that are interested in doing this need to have their stuff pretty much on a digital soft copy, not hard, not paper, nothing tangible. So that's a really important item to note, that, you know, business owners need to have enough sophistication to be able to upload and work through this process, because it's not easy or simple, but it is efficient and effective once it's done, right? And Heather and her group can definitely help guide that once you're ready to do that. Heather, I need to jump because I've got an appointment that I need to make with my new CPO to talk about diversity and what we're doing here. So I'm gonna just jump in and just say, I want to thank everybody on the line for coming today. I also want to let you all know that being certified is really important. And not only being certified is it important, but it also gets you in with what I would say corporate purchasing organizations. So you're going to have internal advocates that are actively looking to develop, seeking to develop, and work with you in your business. So if you're not ready to do business with a corporation, perhaps there are programs that Heather and her organization can demonstrate on ways to be able to get you access to capital, access to procurement organizations, and information about how to develop and really create a sustainable business model for your organization. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Heather. It's been a pleasure seeing so many of you online, and I really hope that we get some people to get motivated and certified. If you're interested in that, make sure that you contact John Pacheco and his staff so that we are aware of who you are. And we're launching a sponsorship program. So we'll go on ahead and actually provide funding for your certification, but more details on that to come. So I'll turn it back over to you, Heather. Thank you again for all your hard work.
No, thank you, and good luck with your CPO meeting. We like that because that keeps the connections going and the opportunities flowing. So we appreciate you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Hector. Heather, we've got a couple of questions here. Miguel, I see you're raising your hand. We'll get to you. First, we have a question from Angelica. What type of references do you need? Is it other business references or you know, when it asks you for references, what kind of references are you looking for?
Okay, that's a very good question. And I want to take kind of some of the fear factor out of that. We don't call references. This isn't like a job situation where we're going to track down references. And actually the term references maybe could be made better at some point on this application. It actually is companies that you have currently or in the past done business with that you're able to put in here. So it's customers, basically it's customer references, and we don't contact those references. What happens is when your company gets approved for certification and you go to the national database for our corporate members to view, they're going to see corporate customers, not the contact information for your customer. They're not going to see, oh, I work with so-and-so and this is their number, but they're going to just see ABC company. And so what the references does is it allows you to tell that prospective corporate customer that might be looking at your database profile, I already have a relationship with ABC company. Maybe it's present, maybe it's past, but I've done business with this company. If you are a new startup or you don't have any customer history, you can leave it blank. I mean, there is an option to say, I don't have any references, but we do encourage all business owners to look at this application as more of a marketing situation than as I have to prove my business one. So when you enter references, think of it as I've got a corporate customer logging in, looking at my profile. I want to let them know that I've already done business with this company or this agency.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yes. And then Miguel, if you want to just turn on your microphone and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Heather. This is Miguel. I'm the president and CEO for Food Staffing Services. I already have two national businesses that want to do business with us.
Okay.
And they asking for this kind of certification for us to formalize our partnership. So how long is the process takes until from the beginning until then to get the certification?
So it can be quick, it can take longer. It all gets to this documentation piece, Miguel. So it's one of those things where if you have all your documents ready to upload based on the requirements for your company, and you just go through, general information, ownership, products, references, upload your documents, sign the declaration, submit pay, we can sometimes get this done. We have a monthly certification review committee meeting made up of corporate members only. So you don't have peers ever looking at your personal data, no one in your space that competes with you. We meet every second Wednesday, usually of every month. So we can usually, by about 45 days, as long as you've been able to get all your documentation in, we can usually get that in front of committee. We do a virtual site visit right now rather than an in-person site visit. So Antoinette and our team does the desk audit. She verifies everything's in here. If you are missing something, she is going to send you an email and give you a call. The quicker we get everything that we need done, the quicker we can get you certified. So I'd say on the short term, 45 days, it can take longer if there's documentation you don't have and we have to wait on.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit more about the pricing? I know I read a little section there that it says in the initial $300 administration fee, but it's going to be based on revenue or something like that.
Exactly. I'm just going to hopefully no one's getting dizzy with my fast slide movement here. I'm just going to jump to that pricing for you. And I know Hector did just mention that US Bank is looking at a program. Now, I know, Miguel, you want to move fast. And so you may not want to wait because you have customers that are looking to solidify the relationship. But maybe it's something that you can benefit from once it's launched too. US Bank is looking to do maybe some funding for initial certifications. But initial certification fees, if your company is under $1 million in revenue, it's $300 initially. And then research, providing you're under $1 million, is $250. Research are 1 year. You can certify up to 90 days in advance, so you can keep your certificate active. You can renew early and not wait till you expire. It's all online. Sorry, I'll go back. It's all online. Once again, like Hector mentioned, all this is online. You pay online, etc. So 300 under $1 million, 400 if you're $1 million to 9.9, 500 if you're over 10 million up to 49.9, and then 750 for initial if you're over 50 million. And then the research is down here.
And that is going to be based on the documentation that we provide about business taxes and
It's based on your federal income tax, the revenue generated by your company, your annual revenue.
Gotcha.
And then just to kind of go along with that, Miguel and Heather, so because I'm halfway, maybe 75% of the way through. And so the first time I went through the certification process, I was like, okay, now I need my annual sales. Okay, let me go look for those. And then I came back and put them in. And then I was like, okay, now I need a copy of my taxes. Okay, let me go look for those. And now I need so is there like a checklist ahead of time? So, because I think it would be quicker and less frustrating because we're all running our businesses, right? But we know we need to stop and take time for this. I ended up the second time through this time having a list and sending it to my accountant, and he got me the majority of the stuff I needed within like 10 minutes. So wow. I would say you guys start there, like get the list and send it to your accountant, and then get everything in a folder and then start the process. It'll be much less daunting, right?
Yep. No, great point. Because really where this gets stuck usually for businesses is in the document section, like you're referring to, Anita. And that's usually, to your question, Miguel, on how long does this take, that's usually where the time gets added on, is the document section. So right here, you can see, and like I said, I'm happy, Anita, to share this deck with you so you can share it with others. It's a large file, so I might have to PDF it and truncate it or something to make sure we get it through the email systems, but I'm happy to get this to you. Right here is the list of required documents for all business types, no matter if you're an LLC, S Corp, C Corp. Some of it may not be applicable. So to everybody listening, if something doesn't apply, say it doesn't apply. When Antoinette goes through and does the desk audit, if she has questions, she'll come to you and say, she's not just going to rule you out and say, forget about it. She'll come to you and say, you said equipment owned or available doesn't apply. Given your type of business, can I just verify that is something truly that doesn't apply? But so basically, this is everybody's cheat sheet on, okay, this is what I have to have if it applies to my company. If it doesn't, note it doesn't. And once again, I want to highlight, this is just initial certification. When you recertify, as long as you keep your company recertified, we don't go through all this again. This is the LLC documents, if your company's an LLC. This is your C Corp, this is your partnership, this is franchises need to do a franchise agreement. Once again, if something doesn't apply, please just note it. We don't want you to create something that doesn't exist. If you do not have minutes of organizational meeting or minutes of the meeting, put that message in the requirement field saying doesn't exist or don't have. We don't want to make you create something that your company doesn't need to have or already has. And like I said, if we have questions, we'll come to you, we'll ask you questions. That's a large reason for the desk audit. So this sounds like, Anita, to your question, this sounds like something that would probably help to have these checklists so people can get ready in advance, like you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
Here's another question. Is there a way to set a meeting to review documents before submitting in case one
yeah, so I would say,
is worried about not sending the correct documents?
sure. And Antoinette, if you could put if you haven't, I'm not looking at chat, so maybe you already did this, Antoinette, but if you could put your email in chat, that would be great. I would say Antoinette is our guru on certification. If you have questions on should I submit this document or is it the right document, I would email Antoinette. It could be something that maybe can be resolved through email. It might be something where you and Antoinette do a Teams meeting or a call, a telephone call, and just look at it together. But I would say, there's two ways you can do it. You can submit your application and then have Antoinette do the desk audit, and she's going to let you know if there's questions or something she additionally needs. And then you can use the site visit, the virtual site visit, to go over Q&A and for her to gather additional documents if needed. Or if you want to do this prior to doing the submission, send Antoinette an email saying, I have a question on this document. But there's opportunities after submission for correction if there's issues or questions. Does that help, or any other questions?
I think that's it, where we can move on. Thank you for answering them. And Angelica, Antoinette's email is in the chat. I'm sure you see it. There we go. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, we try to make it as simple as possible because we don't want this to be a barrier. I mean, the whole idea behind certification is to increase your company's exposure to opportunities and not to become a barrier. So once again, if cost or documents are a barrier, we need to know that and need to just let Antoinette know. And Antoinette always meets with me and lets me know if there's something we have to escalate, etc. So I'm not gonna, given I know we're almost hitting our time, I'm just gonna go back to that one slide and apologize. Close your eyes if you're gonna get dizzy with me moving fast here. I do want to highlight something that comes up in our post-certification webinars that we do. And I know Hector also mentioned touching on some of the other values around certification that's not just meeting the corporate customer. When you complete this, just kind of a nugget of wisdom for product service description. When you put in your company's product service description, think of it also as a keyword search function. And so the database becomes something where our members go in and they might put in paint or architecture or IT services, put it food services, whatever we can say. So make sure you hit all the words that you think your company might be searchable by. I'll use architecture as an example. We had an architecture firm that put themselves in as architectural services. So anybody that searched for architecture was not finding them because they were architectural. And so I would say, put yourself in as architect, architectural, engineering, design, anything that applies from a keyword standpoint. We're not looking for pretty as much as we're looking to make sure you're found. So I do want to make sure we highlight on that product services that this is really for people to find you. And Antoinette, or Anita, sorry, Antoinette, you're on my mind. I know you're sitting here going, this is, bring up anything if you need me to, Antoinette. Anita, I want to make sure in essence of time, because I know we're almost hitting the top of the hour. Anything else you want me to specifically cover or go through, just so we don't leave this with open questions for people?
No, I mean, I feel like, the process is pretty straightforward and the documents, I think having that checklist and just knowing the opportunities is good. And Miguel, I see you have another question, so go ahead and jump on
Yeah,
in.
I'm sorry. I just going back to the map and that you have different regions, right?
Yep.
Most of my operations are here in the Midwest, but I do have an office in San Antonio, in Austin, and I'm opening an office in Miami and Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
So even though they are different, but sections or is still under one national agreement or certificate. Is that right?
Yeah, so two things there. Really good question, Miguel. So one is the certificate is nationwide. So yes, you are right to say that when you get certified with the North Central MSDC as your home council, your certificate is recognized in Miami, your certificate is recognized in San Antonio. One of the things that is a little bit different is our 23 affiliates, including ourselves across the network, we have something called subscription services. So if you decide, it's not mandatory, but if you decide, you know what, I really want to get involved with the Florida Council, really get involved with what they're doing to really better meet corporate customers, you can subscribe to an affiliate. It's not a certification, you're already certified. And basically what that affiliate does is they come to your home council and say, is this an MBE in good standing? Antranet verifies that. They give you a subscription service letter, and that allows you to get into the database for their local members, and it gets you invited into their programming.
Gotcha. That was my second question, because in the list of corporations that you show, I already working with 3 of them that were listed there, but I see another 4 or 5 that I'm interested, but I wanted to see if they have a list of companies for Texas, a list of companies of Florida that I can do exactly what you mentioned, right? So that would be one of my major interests of doing this.
Yeah, and subscription services, although once again, we're cautious not to push it because we don't want to ever create cost burdens, time burdens, but it does put you into the local database. So those local members will find your company. Whereas right now, your nationwide certification puts you in front of every national member nationwide, but local members are unique to each of the 23 affiliate regions. So it does increase your exposure.
Okay. And as we continue, my company continue to expand for the demand, even though we don't have an office in different region, can I put myself out there? Just something comes up, we just go there and open an office if the potential customer makes sense, so.
Yep.
So I don't have to have business physically there to join.
Correct. Yep. You have the ability to join any affiliate at your will. You do not have to have a physical office location if you want to subscribe to an affiliate. If you want to get more involved with the Michigan Council and become a subscriber, that's your prerogative. You can do that. Any other questions, Miguel or Antoinette? I see your hands up. Did you want to add something or?
Yes, I want to make sure that when they are uploading when they're doing their application, I want to make sure that they don't, if they don't have a DBA, if you can go back to it on the PowerPoint, Heather.
Okay. Yep, I will.
So it's like the very first one, yeah, of the application. Because it's very important that you put your information in there accurately, especially your business, because that's how it will go on your certificate.
Oh,
So
good point. Yep.
So right here where it say application information and your firm legal name, you want to put your legal name the way it is on your work from the state, how you signed up with the state, and also doing business as you're doing it, meaning that you're doing your business as a different name. If it's not a different name, please do not put it right there, because it wouldn't look right on your certificate. So that was just something I really wanted to point out.
That's a very good call out, Antoinette. So yes, your certificate is, you get a PDF of it and you can put it on your website, you can email it. Plus you get a logo pack as well. We didn't get time to get into all that, but when you get certified, you can get a certified logo for your website or your marketing materials, social media, etc. But Antoinette's point is really smart. The certificate that is signed by myself and the national president digitally will pull from these two fields. If you have a valid DBA, put in your DBA. If you do not, leave it blank. We don't want to create a certificate that's confusing for the customer for you. And there's a lot of nuances. So once again, I say email Antoinette because
Yes,
yeah,
just so you know, if I'm going through your documentation and there is no DBA, I will delete that. I will not allow, put that because I don't want your certificate to look unprofessional.
right.
So,
Good call out. So thank you for that, Antoinette. Anita, I know this is exciting. Maybe I'm a certification nerd and I just get excited by this, but I know we're already at time. Is there anything for the good of the order here that you want us to close out on?
I think we're good. John, you want to just jump back on and wrap it up for us?
Well, actually, thank you. I've actually learned quite a bit myself here. I've been working with the government sector and their supplier diversity and their certification most recently. And I just want to let everyone know that on this call that this will be a major initiative from the Latino Chamber of Commerce. So a lot of what you have up there, and as we sit down, we can translate it into Spanish. We can here's the questions you have that you've been getting while we're going through it. We can have them posted on the board.
That'd be great.
And we really believe it's our role not only to look at people getting certified, to not only to help them get certified, but to make sure that they're out there and make sure that we can show up with folks. Because it's easy for me to say, well, why don't you have so many contracts with Latinos?
Yep.
If I'm not willing to go out there and get them registered and help them be in the game, if you will, then it's my fault. And so I think you will see, quite frankly, within the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks, a separate supplier diversity portal or spot on our website that we can continue to do this. We see it like a three-legged stool. There's government contracting, there's private sector contracting, but then there's public sector. There's the University of Minnesota or these others they're mission driven that we want to ask the same questions. So I think it's an exciting time for us to build this partnership with North Central. Now we jointly have Hector's attention. He can help us with the corporate part, but we really just letting everyone know that this will be a major priority for the Latino Chamber for the foreseeable future. And with that, I want to thank you all for attending this meeting today, and hopefully you learned as much as I did. So thank you again. And Anita, I don't know how we close this out. If I close it out, I'll turn off everything.
I got it. Have a good day, everyone. Heather, thank you so much.
Yes.
And yeah, lots of people here to answer questions and help you through the process.
Yeah, we look forward to the partnership. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.